welcome to TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys, and a big video coming up for you today because as we know, over the past day or so, there has been an absolute storm in Barcelona surrounding this social media scandal, and in today's video, I'm going to be breaking it down step by step and explaining exactly what's been happening in the media, what the club have responded to that with, and exactly what this means to the future of the club, and in particular, the upcoming elections. But let's first of all go back to yesterday where it all began, and let's explain exactly what Barcelona have been accused of here, and it all comes from the early publication yesterday from Sir. They came out with an article that claimed that Barcelona had hired a social media company. That company in question was i3 Ventures. That's the name of the social media company that Barcelona reportedly hired for €1 million. Now, in return for that investment there from Barcelona in this social media company, they in turn, according to Sir, would then create a number of high-profile accounts on social media, whether it be Twitter, whether it be Facebook. A number of accounts on Facebook have been found, and in particular, linked back to i3 Ventures, and in return for that, they would then spread the messages that Bartomeu, that the Barcelona board, wanted them to spread. So, for instance, there have been articles against Lionel Messi, against his wife Antonella. There have been articles there against Gerard Piqué, against Pep Guardiola, and in particular there was a lot of emphasis there on tainting the reputation of the likes of Victor Font, Benedito, Joan Laporta, anybody really who could come in and replace Bartomeu as president from 2021. There was a lot of negative press surrounding all of those people, and also, on the flip side of that, i3 Ventures would spread positivity with regard to how the Barcelona board and Bartomeu have run Barcelona. They would spread positive messages, and in particular, really look to raise the profile of Bartomeu. So that's what Sir came out and said, that Barcelona there had brought in that social media company basically to make Bartomeu and the Barcelona board look much better than they actually were. However, later on yesterday, Barcelona, of course, were forced to respond because once Sir made that publication, it spread very quickly right throughout Barcelona. It was very interesting, I feel, to see the reaction of Mundo Deportivo and also of Sport. I'm going to move on to those two in a minute. Their silence, really, on this kind of issue. But Barcelona there, as you can see, issued a long statement. They listed 5 bullet points, and they basically went on to say that this was not true. They did not use the social media profiles to spread negativity against their own players, or indeed to raise the profile of Bartomeu. They did, though, admit they were working with i3 Ventures, but they say they were not aware of any such activity from them towards the current Barcelona players or figures outside of the club. So Barca there denying any involvement, and they finished there by saying, if these reports persist, we will take legal action. Please remove it all. But Sir came back. In the evening yesterday, they said, look, we've got proof. They were not going to back down, and I just think here, the publication, Sir, they've clearly done their homework, because very early on here, you felt as though they weren't going to come out with this if they didn't have solid evidence behind it, and indeed, yesterday, they presented it. A 36-page file that documented so many different things. They looked at all the different impressions that Barcelona had on social media, all the interactions, all the accounts that could be linked with the club, and in particular, they found several accounts there on Facebook that had been posting those negative articles, those negative comments and negative feedback towards current players, and also there, the influential figures from the past at Barcelona. They found those accounts, they went there to the domain, and as you can see, it all links back to i3 Ventures, which Barcelona admitted they were working with. And that really caused a storm, because suddenly now it's not just baseless accusations, suddenly now it's not just a publication there throwing something to the wind and hoping that it catches fire. This was something that had been proved, and clearly 36 pages there of documents looking into everything Barcelona had done on social media with regard to Bartomeu and the board. They'd done their homework, they'd done it well, and now we are all waiting. What will the club respond? How on earth can you come back from this? And then indeed, this morning, looking there into Sport and MD, once again, very interesting to see that on the headline, the front cover, the big story, was it there? No, it wasn't. Neither of those papers really shouting about the news from Barcelona. It was all very hush-hush from those two newspapers. Certainly in the Madrid media, though, it's kind of ironic that in the Madrid media, they're actually publicising this more. They're actually seemingly trying to help us by uncovering these sorts of stories than the Barcelona media media are doing. And interestingly though, Bartomeu did come out this morning. I think the club felt as though they had to make some sort of comment on it. This is spiralling out of control. The players are reportedly unhappy behind the scenes, according to Marca. The captains this morning were going to meet with Bartomeu to talk things over and get clarification on exactly what was going on. Because imagine now, if you're Lionel Messi and you're seeing there's something being written about your wife that may indeed be coming from the club. How on earth are you going to feel there? Especially with a new contract potentially in the balance. How on earth is that going to go down? But Bartomeu this morning came out. He said, we never hired a service to attack any player or former president of this club. It's not the first time that somebody talks about Barcelona on these issues. People talked about the corruption surrounding Paulinho, and that was proven not to be true. He said it is true that a company was hired at the end of 2017. Given the fact that it has now been confirmed that this company did indeed create pages to discredit the club, we have terminated our contract this morning with i3 Ventures. And now it's very, very interesting, isn't it? Because what you're saying now is, number one, do you trust the Barcelona board? Do you trust Bartomeu? Because if you do trust them, if you are certainly happy with how they've done over the years, and if they've certainly proved in that time that they are trustworthy, you would say, okay, maybe they didn't know. Maybe they weren't aware there of what was being posted. You can, of course, work with somebody and not know exactly what's going on at all times. Maybe they weren't aware. We're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. The problem for me is they've proven over the years they can't be trustworthy. They have damaged the reputation of this club far, far, far too many times, and it's gone too far. And now it comes to something like this, and you can't trust them. You cannot say with your hand on your heart that, yeah, Barcelona, the Barcelona board, they're going to be innocent in all this. You can't say that. You can't fully believe that because of everything they've dragged us through in the past. We've had scandal after scandal after scandal. The reputation of a historic, great club in Barcelona has been damaged. It truly, truly has been by the current Barcelona board. And for me, there's no way out. It doesn't matter here if we're hearing an apology. It doesn't matter here if they're going to try and sweep this under the carpet. The club as a whole right now needs clarity. It needs transparency. It needs somebody now to stand up and say, you know what? The elections will take place this summer. Put everybody's mind at rest. The players, the fans, none of us right now, including probably the players, don't know what to think. What you need to do now is definitively end this entire saga. Say, look, at the end of the day, it's going to happen this summer, and then we will decide on what goes on from there. Then we'll bring a new president in. They can all come forward with their arguments. They can all come forward there with their philosophies, and we can then elect the person who we believe can take this club forward and restore it to its former glory. We need clarity, and ultimately, there's no question about it. We need change. And given recent events, a lot of people probably will be surprised that I've made this video, surprised at what I've said in this video, but at the end of the day, what I would say is this. We have all been fighting for this club now for several years, all together. I feel as though right now, the Barcelona fan base, the Barcelona community is as united as it has been in a long, long time. We all wanted Valverde to be sacked, but we also could have all conceded that he wasn't the only one to blame. There was a lot more going wrong at the club, and we have been fighting for that change all together because we know that once it happens, once we get there, some transparency within the decisions of the board, once we get there, new ideas, a new philosophy, a new understanding of what this club is about, somebody to come in who actually cares about the club, somebody to come in who actually understands what we represent, that will be for the better. And certainly right now, we have to keep pushing for that. We have to stand together. No matter what happens, we will not be broken. And as always, guys, with these kind of situations, I fully expect it to go on and on and on. This is certainly a saga. There's certainly going to be a lot more to come from this. If there's any news at all, I'll hope to bring it to you. But what I want to say finally is it's just a shame. We are entering now the biggest part of our season. The Champions League now is getting started again. All of the focus, all of our resources, they should be being spent there all about the football. We should be fully focusing on what to come, and that's the real shame in all this, that we've now been put in the position that constantly under this board, it seems as though no, the football is not the centrepiece, the football is not the priority, and that is the biggest problem. We are a football club, we are football fans, that is what we want, and we will not stop until we get back the club that we love. Because at the end of the day, no matter what happens, no matter what is said, no matter what is done, I've always believed it's the fans that make the club. We remain united. We know what we want. And please leave your thoughts in the comments down below. I will see you soon. thank you, as always, for your incredible support. And until next time, as always, Visca El Barça!